In 1814, we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. Oh, well, hello there, swivelheads. How are y'all doing? Yes, I was just singing a bar from the song, The Battle of New Orleans. And what's that have to do with our topic tonight? Well, there was that little line in that song. We three said we could take them by surprise. We held our muskets till we looked them in the eyes. It has some relevance to where I'm going tonight. And that's that old adage oft heard, you know, hold your fire till you see the whites of their eyes. What does that mean? Well, it means save your resources. Don't spend everything up front and make them count, if you know what I mean. So what's that got to do with tonight? Well, I've done a number of videos. I've done quite a few of late on some topics that do relate to this. I've done a lot of build-up of videos of things going on right now. What's in front of us, the games being played, the back and forth of things going around us. We have a lot of strife in our country. There's a lot of strife in other countries. It's just interesting how all this strife just seems to breed everywhere at the same time. So we had a bug going around. And there was some civil strife before that in some countries, like France with the yellow shirt, yellow vest, that is, and a few other nations. And then the bug went around. Then other strife broke out. And then, this internal strife it's gotten pretty intense. Maybe quelled down just a bit in some places, but it has the potential to re-erupt quite significantly. And there's the international tensions. And these are real. There are real tensions in front of us today. So I'm not making light on those. But as you may recall, of course, I did a video about Planet China. That's got to do with the international aspects. That still can play into this. But is there a bigger game? I did the What on Earth's Next. And a lot of people didn't like that video because I started out, it was a live session. Maybe my thumbnail picture was too good. And a whole lot of people starting it and then not watching it past me trying to get things going. Sorry about that, guys. And then there was this video I did on the 5th anniversary of a certain agenda to Alt 3.0. You know what I mean? 5th anniversary thereof, and all the things that pertain to that, and the so-called Great Reset. Do these things play together? What's the game? That's what I'm getting into here. So we're going to talk about this Great Reset, what it really means. Before game, before that, are we being funneled? Are we being played? Yeah, I did a video on that too. I called Who is Playing Who? And are a lot of these things just funneling us into something else? Will they succeed? What can you expect? What do you need to do? Well, I would say that you need to consider really getting ready among, because we're not just talking about, you've got to live through the things that are coming right now. You've got to survive through it. And some of these things are challenging. There are challenges that are before us right now. People talk of civil strife, civil war. We have to maintain our home, our properties, and our rights, our family, our safety. Absolutely. But there may be a bigger end game. What's the end game? That's the real question. What is the end game? What do we have to do to get ready for it? Aside from the obvious thing that you should do is being one with your creator. But, you still have a family to maintain and things to keep going in the meantime. And it's quite possible you'll make it through all this. Let's hope we all do. But there are definitely challenges before us, and we need to weigh them. So the short-term challenges will not be insignificant. So you have to prepare for them. But then you have to prepare for the end-game challenges, the long-term, the long haul, what's coming. That's what we're going to talk about here. And they all interweave, all these things we talked about. But you got to get ready. You got to prep. You got to be ready for your family. So in that line, I'm going to tell you real quick here, just take a moment, that, there's some of the stuff on my channel, some of the videos we just talked about and being played. Planet China. Yeah, that's still part of. This may link into this. We're going to talk about that. And yes, it is a madhouse. But in the meantime, you better be growing your own food. We've got some real food insecurity questions. I would highly encourage you to go to True Leaf Market and check these things out. You can grow indoors if you don't have an outdoors place to grow. And they tell you how to grow your seeds, and they give you the supplies. You get the growing kits, everything, all the supplies you need to grow indoors or outdoors. And I got videos showing you how to do the indoors growing with microgreens. So you can trust that. And my friends, hey, you can't beat this. Right now, $100 off a 4-week supply of great food. It gives you 2,000 calories a day, and it's 3 meals, breakfast, dinner, and lunch. Good, yummy food. And my friends, look at this. You even get breakfast and drinks. Hard to beat that. So do pay attention to that. Look at these things and take care of yourself and your family. This is one way to do it. This food lasts 25 years. It's easy to move around. I've done videos about going to the box store and buying good bulk food too. And I highly do encourage that also. But in the meantime, you just need to know that this is a great deal because it is freeze-dried and can last you for some time. Hard to beat. So all that said here, I'm going to stop this share. Bam, and I'm back. So let's get into it. The short-term challenges are not insignificant at all. They may include things such as grave civil strife. It could happen, especially building up to the election, after the election, the inauguration, post-inauguration, the people may not be happy, or post-event after post-inauguration, because there may be rulings and laws passed that various sides are not going to be able to swallow and accept. And that may cause all kind of consternation. Of course, there's those out there that would try to play that consternation up even more. Now, there's some things that we just should not accept in general, and that may lead to all kinds of civil strife, and it is possible we could go down the road of a civil war. But I got to urge you, we needed everything ahead of time we can to prevent that. Because a civil war is one of the ugliest things you can imagine, shy of a world war in which the mushroom clouds rise. Now, or an EMP strike occurs, because today's world war could be a lot worse than what we knew in the past. But for an American experience, speaking for those of us here in this country, the worst war that we have ever encountered was our first, and hopefully only, civil war. Although some people count the Revolutionary War as a civil war, as it was in some regards. Therefore, one has to think, the casualties in that first Civil War, I call the war between the states, it took us until just a few decades ago to reach that level, and all our other wars combined. I mean, it was, the latest wars in the Mideast that finally got us to level that the casualties from all the wars exceeded the Civil War. Americans fighting Americans can be a very ugly proposition. But I would submit that war is really a war between states and regions for the most part, although not entirely. A civil war is neighbor fighting neighbor all over the place. That's even uglier. It's far uglier. It can be. So don't go wishing for it. You might get what you wish for, and it's not a pretty picture. A lot of people think that's a good thing. They want to push for it. I would submit, though, that we have to defend our liberties. Absolutely. That said, I would say other things, we may have a world war coming at us, economic depression, a lot of things may hit us. But then a lot of these things may be a distraction, a funnel to push us in another direction. I did this video when I was talking about, one of the last videos when I was talking about the Great Reset, World Economic Forum, and they're using the bug going around as an excuse. So we got to totally reset our society. And now they're talking about lockdowns again. And the justification for those lockdowns, I think, are somewhat dubious, especially when you consider the case fatality rate seems to have dropped considerably. So really, maybe this is all speaking to an agenda. Does it? Oh yeah, there was a couple of agendas I talked about in that video, right? Agendas of the nations united, I say in reverse. So think about this. Where's the big fight? What must you prep for the most? You've got to be ready for these things that come at us in the near term, but in the end game, may be far more severe. Now, some of these short-term, near-term fights may be over who controls the end game, like Planet China. Is Planet China going to be in charge of it all in the end? Are they going to be the masters of the universe? I say that facetiously, after the cartoon. Is Xi Jinping Skeletor? Okay, you got to have a little fun when you're talking about doomsday, right? Only on my channel. All right, so, well, Rex does too. But you need to have long-term view of this stuff, long-term preparations, long-term ability to survive. So you need to be able to handle the first heads down, duck, but you need to be able to do it again and for the longer term. And you might need to save some of your bang bang powder, or be able to make it or come up with it again for what's to come. You may not even want to engage in this near-term stuff unless it's a necessity. Don't go out and engage unless it's a necessity. If you got to defend your home, your family, then by all means, that's what you got to do. Absolutely. Defending your rights. If somebody comes along and wants to take away my right to have a straw and spit wads, if you know what I mean. I'm not really talking about spit wads. Then, you got to do what you got to do. So definitely believe in the rights enumerated in here. And I've talked about that many times, and will continue to do so. Those are dear to me. And self-sovereignty is dear to me. See, the proposition of my channel is to help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. And we're really talking about the hive. Now, a lot of stuff coming at us is really coming from different quarters, but I consider it all the Hive Tech arms race. He's going to have the Hive technology. He's going to have the Hive organizations that's going to put the implant into the old beam that makes you go, takes away your soul. Yeah, it's made like fly bait. It's going to be so delicious at first because the temptations, what you'll be able to see and do, experience the power, the control, it may be required in the workplace, but in the end, you lose. In the end, they control you completely. Once they get all the controls in place, they got no reason to retain the useless eaters, as they call them. That's their words. Originated originally, at least my first quotation that I know of, is from Henry Kissinger back in the 70s. He used that term then. So these terms have been around for a long time. They fit with the guidestones there in Georgia. They fit with, what we see in a lot of these agenda I talked about. These things kind of fit hand in glove. And when you hear, Greg, they don't mean all that. Well, it's kind of funny. Guys like the Gates of Bill and folks up on the Hill, many people in power, Ted Turner, you can talk about, David Rockefeller. You can talk about, Warren Buffett. All these people think there's too many people. They say it over and over. Prince, Prince Charles is dead. I'm getting brain lock here. Prince Philip, he said, if he could die, he'd want to come back as a virus. I think maybe a virus got him. But why? To take out all of the population. And look how Prince Charles, the kind of things he talks about. So really, all these things they put out there that they coat it with honey to make it sound good on the outside. Tastes good when you lick it, but when you swallow it, it's a poison pill. It's a poison pill. So that's what you got to get ready for. It's the long term, the poison pill, the things to come. And that's what I'm telling you. That's the thing. The whole purpose of this video is to really be ready. As I always try to keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. That's why I call you swivel heads. Because I know you do that. Well, camera's bright. Okay, good. But that's just it. It's going to be coming at us from so many directions. And you got to take care of yourself. And a lot of it is prayer. I really believe that we can pray and meditate our way into a better reality. There are certain things prophesied. Maybe some of these things have to come, but we can soften our landing into it. We can change how we get there, if that is what you believe. Because God would give us a multiverse, or else he'd be a tyrant. And he's not a tyrant. He gives us choice. He gives us choices in our life. To have choices, we must live in a multiverse. And when you take what I've talked about in the past about our universe, the timeline, relativity, and how these things connect. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. I mean, I'll do it in another video. And I'm going to go further into this topic. I'm going to talk about the gulag, a la global. Stop at it. That'll be a future topic in the not too distant future. But I'm going to talk about what this is really all about. All this stuff went on today. You know, this is close to, this is the prelude to that video. But right now, the purpose of this video is just to tell you to get ready. Have your mind, your spirit ready, your family, your preps centered, and do not panic. Panic does never work. Just be ready. Be prepared as much as you can. Do all that you can. That's the purpose of this video. All right. And that's it. I have nothing more to say today on that occasion. There's much more to talk about. There's interesting things going on with China vis-a-vis Taiwan, and prospects of us putting troops there, and the threats they've made in relation to that, and a lot of other topics to go over. But you know, I don't want to be covering the same topic every video in the same way with this one. I've been beating on this horse a little bit, so I'm gonna give this horse a little rest. We'll switch around and ride a few other horses. Hopefully it's not the 4 horses. If you know what I mean. But I think I'm hearing them neigh. Maybe I'm hearing them pawing the ground. So something could be going around. All right, enough said. Everybody, to support my channel. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Bang up the notification bell and click all. And check the links below in the notes to True Leaf Market, prepwithgreg.com. That's where you support my channel. Anyway, everyone, I most heartily thank you for watching.